Hey, anybody watching this video, I went to the Queens Center Mall yesterday. It's a mall that's near my house, and I went there in order to win myself a PlayStation 4 by doing that Taco Bell. You eat a $5 box, you get the coupon code on the PS4 box, you scan it into your phone, you text it, and you see if you win. I've tried it like 4 or 5 times now in the last month, and I haven't won once, so I've given up. But on my way to Taco Bell, I did come across a Xbox One. There's a Microsoft store inside the mall, and well, it's not an actual store, it's more of like a kiosk area. I went to the stand and I started playing the Xbox One. They had 2 games available to play. Hand in focus. 2 games available to play. They had Forza, or Forza, as people are getting fancy and linguistic now, and they had Killer Instinct. And I played Killer Instinct as Saberwolf, I think his name is, and I fought Jago. I didn't choose to fight any other characters, but there were like 3 or 4 characters you could have played as. I just chose Saberwolf. So I want to talk about the controller before I get too much into the games and the features of the games. I held the controller up. It feels a little hollow, or lighter. Compared to holding the Xbox 360 controller, it's a lot lighter feeling. So to me, that just translated to being like hollow plastic feel, but it might have just been lighter, and I didn't expect it to be as light as it was. Another thing is, after playing the Xbox 360 for so long, you feel like used to the battery pack. Like I barricade my my 2 fingers here against the battery pack when I hold the controller to hold it still. And that wasn't there on the Xbox One controller, so it was harder to get a grip on it at first, but then my hands just fell into like a natural position and it worked out very well. The sticks on them felt a little smaller, like the circumference of them, so instead of them being maybe this big for an Xbox 360, it was more like that. The reason I keep looking down there is I have a TV set up so I could actually see myself. The controller thumbsticks felt a little smaller. They felt a little smaller because it seems to be that they have like a raised bulb edge, like that, and then in it there's a concave shape. So if you imagine like a donut and then a concave almost in the middle of the donut where the hole would be, that's how the thumbsticks feel. So I don't know how to describe it. They felt smaller, but I bet they weren't smaller. It's just that they had a raised edge from a larger circumference. So it was like this, and then it kind of tapered up, so that's what probably made them feel smaller to me. They are slightly raised up compared to like an Xbox 360 controller. So if you play with like FPS freaks, you might not need them, because I usually play with FPS freaks, or whatever you want to call them, the little things you attach to your thumbstick. And the Xbox One controller is a little raised up, so it kind of felt good. I feel like I don't need to snap that on now. Also, I don't know if that would work on the new controllers. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is the buttons. The buttons don't really look as cool as they do in like the commercials and stuff. It just looks like a colored letter with a black background. It doesn't look raised really or anything like that. Didn't feel any different, so I'm not really gonna dwindle on that. So I touched the D-pad. The D-pad is... I really didn't feel too much of a difference between that and the Xbox 360 D-pad. I mean, it's not like one whole raised piece now. It's essentially just like a cross, and I guess the webbing that connects the cross parts are underneath now. It didn't feel too different. It's not as loose as the Xbox 360 D-pad is, but it's certainly not like Nintendo DS D-pad. It's not like clicky like that. You still just kind of rock it into the position that you want it to be in. So I mean, I'm not like, super into the new D-pad. It's better than the Xbox 360 one, but it probably could have been a lot better. Maybe like individual buttons or something like that instead of like a rock. It rocks around. That's the only thing I don't like about it. The new triggers feel fantastic. They don't make any noise when you pull them anymore. Okay, like here's an Xbox 360 controller. If I pull the trigger, you hear it. It's like... You could hear it making noise. You could hear it accentuate. I don't know if that's the word or not, but you could hear it make a noise once you pull the trigger down. The new Xbox One controllers, they don't make any noise when you pull the triggers. You could go like that as hard as you want. It doesn't make any noise. It has like a silent, almost cushiony stop to it. I don't know how to explain it. So they don't make any noise when you pull the trigger anymore. They're a lot better feeling than that. It kind of like concaves to the inner edge of your finger, because it's essentially the trigger here. But if you have like a webbing, or like a piece of plastic that would connect this to this, that's what the Xbox One controller is like. I like the controllers a lot. I don't hate the Xbox 360 controller's triggers, but the fact that it doesn't go every time you pull a trigger or something like that, especially in Call of Duty where you hear like as you pull a trigger. I mean, if you're into first-person shooters, apparently the rumble triggers in there do actually mimic a trigger pull. So like when you pull the trigger down enough, it'll vibrate like briefly to simulate a trigger pull, which I thought was really cool. I didn't get to test that out because they didn't have any like multiplayer or first-person shooter type of games. It was just Killer Instinct and Forza. So those are the games I played. The triggers, that's all I have to say. The bumpers still click, and I really don't think I have anything else to talk about with the controller. I played Killer Instinct, like I said. I played as Sabrewulf, controlled very well. I didn't remember any of the combo breakers. If you don't play a Killer Instinct, you can get into like 20 punch combos, and you can like the other person has the ability to break them based on what move you do. Like a light hit, you press like A and X to undo. A heavy hit, or a medium hit, sorry, is like B and Y, and then a heavy hit's like both triggers, a bumper and the trigger on the right side. So that's how you break a combo, and I didn't know how to do that, so I just kept getting wailed on by the PC. I mean, eventually I figured it out, but I didn't know what color symbolized what strength. So Killer Instinct's pretty fun, but if you don't know the combo breakers, you're gonna get a little fucked up at first. I really don't know what else to say about it. It was very fun to play. It looked gorgeous. I mean, I'd assume it would. And now Forza, I haven't played driving games like that before. So for me, like, the only driving game experience I have is like Mario Kart and like Sega All-Star Racing Transformed. So I really don't know how those games are supposed to handle. It felt good. The rumble triggers are really nice in the driving game because it kind of, you feel like the car, like if it loses traction, you feel the car like rotating the tire. So like you feel like the tire catch almost in the trigger. I wish that the rumble trigger felt a little more hefty. It feels a little light, like when you feel the vibration in it. Maybe it can be calibrated to be stronger, or it wasn't supposed to be as strong. But it didn't feel like weighty to me for like a trigger rumble. It's just like you feel your finger vibrate, but you don't feel the actual button vibrate, which is good. If you live in the Queens area, or if you live near a Microsoft store, I think they pretty much all have Xbox One set up. So it's kind of cool. Ooh, also, the achievements you can now put in different colors. I knew about that before, but I didn't know how it meant it. It kind of just pops up like a trophy almost symbol, like the Xbox thing. And then it's just, like, they said it to be purple, I guess to demonstrate the color changes. And then the whole thing goes out in a purple, like, I guess, oval line shape. And it just says, like, achievement unlocked. I unlocked like 3 in Killer Instinct somehow. So that happened, and it was pretty cool. And the Xbox, that's one more thing I want to talk about. The Xbox One like button that's on the top that has the X on it, the actual logo button, is not like a touch sensitive button. I thought it was going to be like a capacitive button like the new Xbox 360s are. It's actually just a button you depress, which kind of struck me as odd. Like I thought it would have been like a touch sensitive button, but you just push it in, and then when you push it in, it kind of brings you out to the home screen. And I saw the home screen, it looked pretty cool. I couldn't really move around because I didn't want to, have the guy at the store yell at me. It's like, don't do that or anything like that. So I just pushed it once or twice to see what it did. It brought me out, and then you press A to like, select the game again to continue the game. So the new dashboard looks pretty cool. The new controller is pretty nice. The D-pad's not as great as they're making it seem to me, at least. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.